Okay, we're live. Let me just get to the so I can see the chat and stuff.
Yeah, me too. I don't see it. Is it live? It says live. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's live.
Um, okay, I'm set.
Okay, I just wanna be looking at it. Hold on a sec. Where is it? Okay. Is anyone in the chat?
Just me so far.
Okay.
I think Luke's still on, but I
I know, are we being rude?
not really. I don't think he cares at this point, and it's been hard to watch Luke's show lately. It's not as good. There's like it feels like it became a mono cultural. I don't know. They're not really having fights anymore. Everything seems kind of
They all agree with each other too much.
yeah, and it's kind of like just CNN level almost or something. I
Oh,
don't
come
know.
on, it's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. You're right.
I still like Kevin. You don't like listening to Kevin?
Well, he's okay, but I feel like Kevin, he's depressing, like to me,
Kinda, yeah.
because I think just he's great for like, I mean, if it's amazing that he can focus that much and do it every day and stuff, but he's kind of like yeah, I don't know. He doesn't give me hope for the future. Everything is just kind of a somber, like a mockery or something to him.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah, but
Okay. Well, I have something that to start that we can
yeah, tell me.
I'll throw out there. Okay, so Sunday is Father's Day, right?
Hmm.
So I went to my in-laws' house.
Oh, yes, I wanted to ask you about this.
You can probably already guess what I'm gonna say, but they always have like either like CNN or MSNBC on or something, like
Hmm.
always.
Hmm.
That's like a boomer thing to like have the TV on.
Yeah, my parents too. I'm like I can tell that your husband like is has the same life that I had growing up, like liberal boomer parents,
Probably, yeah.
basically.
But no, like I don't think your parents are quite on this level.
Okay, maybe. Well, we'll see. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so MSNBC is on and like they kept playing this clip like it was like what was it? Uh oh yeah, it was like 20 how many years has it been since Stonewall? It was like a Stonewall
50, I think.
50 years since Stonewall. Okay, so yeah, they kept showing like a clip of like two guys kissing and like people marching in gay pride parades and like just it was so
Yeah.
and like this isn't like MTV or like something that's a little more controversial. Like this is MSNBC.
And like daytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like targeted towards like old people.
Just anyone who's walking by a TV.
Right,
Yeah.
anyone. And that's like a whole new level. And
Yeah.
then they kept interchanging it with a clip of that, and then there was like a woman talking about how she needed to get an abortion. Like that was the whole thing. Did you mute yourself?
No, I'm just well, that can't be the whole thing because you told me, didn't you say like you said something to your father-in-law or no?
Oh, you want to hear about that?
Well, yeah, I thought it might. Isn't that where it went?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, my husband and I were like, what is why do they keep showing this stuff? Because every time we like or he complains about it to them, they basically are like, what are you talking about?
I
Like, I don't know what
love
you're
this.
talking about. You're just paranoid,
Yeah.
like everything's normal.
Yeah. This is
Um,
totally my life. Totally.
yeah. And we're like, okay, see, like you see, like they keep doing this stuff. They keep literally like playing these same clips to like piss off the same people,
Have
right?
you have you guys gotten to the point in that conversation where the boomers compare this to the civil rights movement yet?
No.
That's what my mom does when I bring it
That's
up.
interesting.
She's like, well, but in the 60s, um, people used to get mad when blacks and whites got married. And now Like, and she's like, "This is just the next thing, you know?" And it's like, and no one will be mad about it as soon as we just push through. And I'm like, what? I mean, like, she doesn't even understand where I am, right? Like, because I'm like, and that was bad. I'm like almost at the point where, like, what was it? Loving versus Virginia should be overturned or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, they, I don't know, man. Yeah. So yeah, and the idea of like, yeah, Tom Anderson says marginalized losers or conspiracy theorists is the term the boomers use for it, which
Yeah,
is weird
they okay, so
because it's like, what's the conspiracy?
well, we basically were like, this is not normal. We were just like pointing out like the obvious, like this is not normal. Like, why do they keep showing this gay stuff everywhere
Yeah.
all the time? And they're like, well, because they were persecuted. And then and then we're like, well, okay, you know what? Like being gay is abnormal. This is my husband. He said something like along those lines.
Yeah.
And then
And his
he asked
mom's
his
like
dad,
so
he's like,
disappointed, right?
what?
Is his mom like so
No,
disappointed?
actually, this is interesting.
Okay.
He says to his dad, like, aren't you like happy? Like, wouldn't you rather me be straight and like be married than like
Hmm.
if I was gay? And his dad goes, no, I wouldn't care. And his mom goes, I'd rather have you be straight. Like
Interesting.
she's like the more like normal one.
Uh-huh.
It's his dad that like is just
Interesting.
being crazy. And then basically after that happened, I went into the bathroom and couldn't hear exactly what they were saying, but I heard him call my husband a conspiracy theorist.
Hmm.
And then
His dad.
no, yeah, his dad called
Yeah.
him a conspiracy theorist. And
Wow.
then we kind of like stopped talking about it. But
Yeah, because that is a conversation ender. It's the kind of thing that like kind of drove me off of Luke's show when I was trying to, like, when I was talking to Kyle and they start mentally ill posting at you, and it's kind of like,
yeah.
look, if I'm mentally ill, like, this conversation has to end, you know.
They say
But
we're like paranoid, we're conspiracy
yeah,
theorists. Like
paranoia.
we should like none of it matters and we should just like stop worrying about it,
Hmm.
basically. And like that's what he said before. He's like, well, why does it matter? How does it affect you? It's
Yeah.
like it
Well, how
affects
can
us
they
because
not see that?
we have a child. This is our culture and it's crap. And he says, no, it's fine.
You know what my dad said to me the last time I brought it up? Because, and yeah, first of all, you're right that it's interesting that, because that's kind of indicative of like collapsed patriarchy, right? That the mother is a little more based than the dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's, which is a problem. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's probably almost similar in my house. I don't like to think of it that way. And I think probably, I mean, my dad like could flip the switch and be patriarchal sometimes, but mostly my mom was like the alpha in the family. And that's screwed up. And like I knew it by the time I was 15. It used to cause fights, you know. But my dad said something like, you know, son, when you were born, I was born in 78, like there were, gas lines and wars breaking out, and your mother and I were so concerned about the school we were sending you to and everything, and look, it all worked out. And I think when you're my age and your kids have 3 kids, like, you'll feel like, oh, it was all fine, you know what I mean? And it's like, I kind of hate that. I mean, I don't hate it because I get what he's doing, and it kind of does make sense. It's like, because he raised his kids, and
Hmm.
so they like pull up to 10,000 feet and they start to like be philosophers, and it's like, okay, but like, come on, yeah, as you said, we're raising kids.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I said to you before we started, I'm in basically West Village, like at this like like Globo Homo ground zero, the Kaaba, is right around the corner. And my like, I walked over there today just to see, and there are rainbow flags on everything. Like,
Hmm.
I've never seen anything like it. Like, I can't think to compare it to anything. Like, just hundreds, like, lining all of those old wrought iron metal posts, and they're on all the churches all the way into like downtown, like, just everything is gay here. And it's like, uh, you can't, like, that is a different level, you know what I mean? It's like, it signifies, like, flags are these like statements of like hegemony, you know? And
It's like its own culture.
yeah, and like for kids, they notice stuff like that. So they will all say, any kid growing up in Manhattan right now, any kid is going to go like, "What's with the rainbow flags?" And then you
Mhm.
have to answer the kid. And the answer is I mean, well, that's the sodomy flag, and it's great. Like we that's what we celebrate, you know?
They don't
So
use the word sodomy.
no, I know, but I mean that's
I know.
and like yeah, that's why I said it that way because it's like the only other alternative, and this is the one that drives me nuts because this is what you have to do if you're trying to raise kids is you have to say like um okay, like you're 9 years old. Imagine yourself 9 years old. Do you remember being 9?
Mhm.
Like I kind of vaguely remember 9. I think that was the year the Challenger blew up or something. Like I
Mhm.
was dimly conscious, you know?
Mhm.
And to talk to a 9-year-old, you have to like, I mean, how can a 9-year-old understand global politics and like the shift from a republic to an empire, or you know what I mean? So you have to just go like, some bad people have stolen the rainbow as a image, and I know it's beautiful, but we can't associate with it, and that's all. And like that's the best you can do, because to try to explain it any clearer than that it's just gonna blow, it's gonna ruin the mind of the kid, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Interesting.
don't know, can you think of, maybe you're more expert at it because you grew up Jewish or something like that. I feel Jewish, like I think that's basically what's happening to anyone who isn't on board the global homo. It makes you into a wandering moralist.
Yeah, but like that's what Christians were too in the beginning,
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Like it was like the
Hmm.
anti-empire, you know? Like
Yeah,
they were basically like, we're leaving.
totally.
Um,
Like the I mean, some like yeah, this is what I've been thinking a lot about this lately because in 2016 there were all these, like all of the reactionary energy was very Roman in the sense that it was very like, we want to retake we want to be like not quite a fourth Reich or something, but basically like we want to retake, like we want to elect Trump so that he will deport all the immigrants and make America great again, and like it'll be a secular republic basically.
mhm.
But the problem with that is that like yeah, Rome was not perfect. Like I mean, you've read about like how they used to expose babies, meaning like basically just like abort them after they were born, leave them out on the stones for the vultures or whatever, and like Christians wouldn't do that. They were like, that's bad,
Right. Exactly.
and it is bad, like needless to say.
Are you
So
asking like how you can like tell your kids this?
yeah, because it breaks my heart,
Yeah.
because I
Right.
didn't have to grow up that way. Like to say to a kid, listen, you're living in a demon possessed world and you kind of have to be careful who you make friends with, and you
Mhm.
shouldn't probably just trust anyone before like you've broken bread with them and stuff. Like this sucks.
Mhm. I
It
have can I I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go.
screen share something for you. Hold on.
It's almost like you have to teach them to be paranoid. It's
You don't have to teach them to be paranoid. I have a solution.
okay.
Hold on. Okay. Oh shoot. Is my shirt bad?
Hmm?
Someone told me to put a sweater on.
Oh,
Is it
they're just trolling.
oh.
They tell Ash to cover her shoulders all the time and stuff.
All right. I'm going to can you see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Is
This
this
is
from the Boston Catechism or whatever? The
the
Baltimore?
Baltimore Catechism.
Hmm.
I just think it's so like I think these little cartoons are really nice. Like if I
Hmm.
was a kid, I would be into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you read this?
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm playing with Duvid in the chat. Sad. Okay, yeah. Okay, oh,
Oh
wait.
shit, sorry.
It was
Zoom
better the other way. A baby studies his fingers and toes to see what they're made of. This is for, wow, okay.
Yeah,
As
it's
he
for
gets
kids.
as he gets a little older, his mind wants to know the answer to three questions about himself. Who made me? What for? Who will show me how? This lesson answers those three questions, which are so important that our whole lives depend on the way they are answered. Boy and girl. Who made us? Christ. God made you. Boy and girl. What for? Christ. To know him, to love him, and to serve him in this world, and to be happy with him forever in heaven. Boy and girl. What does serve mean? To work for someone and try to please him because you love him. Boy and girl. Who will show us how? Christ. I will show you through my church. Yeah, this is great. Like, this is hard. This is hard. Imagine, like, this is thoughtful,
Yes.
because this is that translation I was just talking about. Like, to really boil it down the best you can to a 9-year-old brain is not easy
This
to
is the
do.
perfect I think this is, like, the perfect tool
Yeah,
for kids.
yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's like the, is this the Socratic method where you, like, ask a question or whatever?
Oh, you want me to keep going? Who made us?
Oh,
God
no, no,
made.
no, never mind.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Who's God? I see it though.
Um, I know you won't like the Catholic Church or whatever, but
No, I mean, I think, like, it's not that I don't like the Catholic Church. I think that I do actually. I do sort of think that, like, um, Protestantism was kind of a disaster. Uh, I mean, and sometimes I've heard that argument that, like, even Luther probably would be horrified to see the downstream effects of what happened.
mhm,
Because, like, obviously we're disunified now, and frankly, most of the all of the churches are basically paused at this point. So
mhm,
it's like it was just bad. The whole thing was bad, and I wouldn't mind some sort of a reunification. I just my hesitation is that big institutions, and Christianity is huge at this point,
mhm,
are just so subject to, corruption, because the power
right.
and the stakes are so high, and
Well,
people are
yeah,
people.
well, the Vatican itself, I mean, if you wanna be, like, an actual practicing Catholic right now, you can't really be associated with the Vatican.
Yeah,
That's kinda
right.
like the irony in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is weird, huh?
It's
I
weird,
mean,
but it's also like it's happened before, like, Athanasius was, like, fighting heresy in, like, the 3rd
mhm.
century, and he was, like, one of the only people, you know? Like,
Yeah,
most people will like, I was listening to something today that I don't know if you listened to what I sent you, but, like, it's our tendency as human beings to fall into error and to
mhm.
fall into, like, um these false ideas, especially about God, and like how many times, do people start worshiping idols and doing
Right.
like sick things, you know?
Yeah. It's actually really ha like, it's not easy to resist that, I mean, I guess that's what you're saying the institution could be for, right?
Mhm,
This is because I was working on this yesterday. I was thinking, like, and John Harris and I have been talking about this a little bit, and I got into this thing whenever it was this morning or something. I can't remember even who was talking, but I started, like, almost like Gnostic posting, because like it the part like there's a part of me that likes the idea of the priesthood of all believers, but
mhm,
then you realize that, like, your average person doesn't have time to or smarts or whatever, they just aren't priests. Like, there really
no,
is a distinction between priests and lay
exactly.
people. And so there might have to be, like, two levels, and so most people are just gonna kind of show up and eat the Eucharist and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
But
most people, like, and that's why, like, it's cool that they made, books like this where it is, you could show this to anyone who
yeah,
has, like, is at least, even kids or not very smart people, and it it breaks it down because, like, most people, like, the Bible is how many pages? I guess the New Testament's
I mean,
not that.
you can read the New Testament in, like, 12 hours or
Yeah,
something.
the
It's
New
not that
Testament,
long.
but, like,
Yeah.
to read the entire thing, um
And, like, I get so, like, what do you think about these, like, Do you think that Christianity or Catholicism even is a total system, or does it need like native host cultures? You know what I mean by that? Like, so
Mhm.
Christianity is going to be different probably in you know, Poland than it is in Argentina
Hmm.
or Texas
Like, yes and no. Like,
or Ethiopia.
um, like, the idea behind Catholicism is, like, the mass should be the same. I mean, it's going to be, like, slightly adapted to the local culture, but you don't want what they call enculturation, where people, and that is basically what's happened, where people, bring their, like, voodoo magic and, like, say that that's
Yeah.
Christian or whatever when
Did I
it's
show you that video that Ash showed me that her church was working on about? Did you see that? They're
I
doing this
saw,
like
like, the first, like, minute of it.
yeah, yeah, because it's like a freshman seminar level thing. And that guy with the white guy was the head of the Southern Baptist Church. And
Yeah.
like they're talking about racial reconciliation. And this is totally standard now at like all mainstream American, at least Protestant churches, and it's probably coming for the Catholics. It's like they'll say things like, and they're talking like about white privilege in churches,
Oh, yeah, no,
you know?
they're already doing that in, like, Novus
And
Ordo Catholic.
and they're talking like, you know, these churches need to have 20% non-whites in order to qualify as diverse churches, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like this is so I mean, it's just so screwed up because like we're taught that the unity of the body of Christ, the Catholic Holy Church is the thing. And then now it's like but there's black people who act black and white people who act white and it's like this just seems so unchristian to me. It seems like a divide and conquer thing.
Yeah, it's not very, um, traditional.
Well, I mean, yeah, but isn't it like it's even yeah, I guess so. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. This is why though, like, I like with the traditional Catholicism and stuff, like, they are very, quick to, like, call out heresy and error and, like, this is wrong. Like, they're
Mhm.
not relativistic. And I feel like a lot of these other churches they're basically moral relativists, and that's why they're constantly, like, changing
Right.
the
But see,
law.
like okay, but this gets hard because isn't Christianity in general like I mean, it doesn't have the law. So if you're like a Christian, you can't point to the 613 laws.
Hmm. Well, no, I mean, there is a law though, like, the law is in this catechism. It breaks it all
Uh,
down. It's following the 10 commandments basically, but, like, that
yeah,
that needs to be explained in
yeah,
itself, you know? I
yeah.
mean, we should look at those pages because 'cause they're really interesting. Hold
Oh
on.
yeah, okay, so John Harris wants to know about these these Saint Pius, is it?
St. Pius? Yeah.
The churches like what's their view of like supersessionism or the Judeo-Christian
They
heresy?
they say there's no salvation. The position has always been there's no salvation outside of the Catholic Church. Like, Jews have to convert. There's
Mhm.
no like, everyone does, basically. I mean, they're not, like, racialist. I think they
Yeah,
would acknowledge they're more likely like, Bishop Williamson is, like, race woke.
he's amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
there's more race woke people within that than any
Mhm.
other.
Yeah, sure, but like you're right that they don't it's not that they even make a point of that. I mean, they are woke to it, but
I think they would just say something like, well, they do like, in their schools and stuff, like, they'll have professors that are be like, that, multiculturalism is bad, because
yeah, right.
that was basically the justification behind changing the mass and allowing people to do whatever they want.
Have you like look, you've seen at some point you've seen this chart, I imagine. Can you see my screen with this is racism
Your screen? Hold on one
and
second.
like yeah, like right here is oh yeah, make mine show for a second.
Yeah.
This is just the Google Ngram of racism. So it starts in I mean, it goes back to 1800, but basically no one used this term until like 1937,
Right.
and now it's like spiking.
Right.
And
And like, yeah, that's why it needs to be like this unchanging like thing. So you can't just like make up new sins and
that's
things.
right. That's just what I was going to say is this is a modern, like hyper
Yeah.
modern, like made up thing. It's not a Christian thing.
Ex-
And so like when Bishop Williamson's woke to race or whatever, I was talking to a Catholic friend about this tonight, and he said, "Look, it's not like he's woke. He gets it. He's not. He said it's not that racism's like okay, but it's more like it's it's a made up empire
Yes.
virtue, and we shouldn't involve ourselves in it as a thought." And then it made me. I replied to him. I said, "You know what the thing is? Like racism is actually like it's more of a symptom. Like the real problem was before that, right? The real problem is just the fact that all these people are now living together who never normally would have been. So
Right.
like why are there Middle Easterners in white societies, and why
Yeah.
are there like East Africans living here, and even slaves, actually, even like former slaves, even the descendants of slaves, it's the same thing. It's like this never should have happened. It comes down to like first what happened is that Christians dropped the ball when it came to not being materialists, probably. Like the profit motive got
Mhm.
in deep enough that the sort of mass movement of peoples became like it was the bowl of lentil soup thing. They were like, yeah, okay, well, we need to make money. Let's just bring in a bunch of West Africans to do our work for us. Big
Right.
mistake. And then now you have this problem, and it's like then there's racism, but racism is almost just like, I mean, it's like an infection that happened. The cut was upstream, further before that somehow.
Hmm.
Like you've read Dante, haven't you?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love Dante when you read Dante because it really
Really?
clarifies the have you ever looked at the chart of it, at least the
Yes. Yeah.
like it's very surprising to me the way he orders or it was the first time I read it, because I was just surprised it wasn't the same sense that I had growing up about what the serious sins are and like the ranking of them, but
Yeah.
he explains it and it makes so much sense once you get into it, that the sins that we like, or that I, when I was a kid at least, kind of obsessed about, that like um those sins of continence like sex and gluttony and even greed,
Hmm.
these are kind of petty to him because they're unintentional, they're, you couldn't control yourself, but it's the ones where you get into like violence and even fraud is in the eighth circle, and like
Mm.
fraud makes a mockery out of human lives, that's the thing that's really dark and scary, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
you'll like the Inferno.
Do you like this page?
Wait, let me maximize it a little bit here so I can see
Does it look
better.
fuzzy or am I
No,
crazy?
it's just I had you on small. The commandments of God, the law was given through Moses. Commandments of the church. Yeah, I like this kind of stuff actually. And like this is what
Wait,
I
can
was saying.
everyone see it though? Hold on. I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
can see it.
but okay.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
Okay.
Um, like yeah, I think this is what I meant when I said earlier that you need the two layers of it at least. Like you need Thomas Aquinas,
Right.
but you also need this book because like not every, especially kid,
Oh,
can
absolutely. Yeah.
read Thomas Aquinas, and so you have to like kind of boil it down, and probably it leaves some stuff out, but like yeah, yeah, you tell a kid the two great commandments are, and then like kids can remember that stuff.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'll also say, I'm just looking at this. Like, do you think does any of this like
Oh
in
wait. Shoot, the screen is still locked on you. Sorry.
oh sorry.
I want everyone to be able to see
Yeah,
this.
they should look at this. Does any of this stuff inoculate people against like the encroaching global homo and like in race
Well,
thinking
if
and
okay, this is what I actually kind of wanted to bring up. I think the only way to counter global homo is to have like a highly robust counterculture or
right.
like alternative culture.
Yeah.
And that's why I like this or this type of thing I mean, there's 1,000 books like this, you know?
Well, like I can't. Here's how I agree: is that I think if you have people like I was gonna say reading the Bible. I actually think reading the Bible is a uh, it feels attainable
Mhm.
in the current age, sort of, because everybody's literate, and so maybe that would work. Maybe even better than that would be gathering in a huge medieval cathedral and hearing the same mass every weekend. Okay, maybe. But in either case, if you do those, if you do those enough, there are like memes. There are memes built into Christianity, right? Like,
Mhm.
so if you hear enough sermons, you start to hear like, I have not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law, making disciples of all nations, etc. You hear these things, and then like your fellow Christians will speak that language. Like these things used to be like, there were like when Lincoln said a house divided could not stand, everyone heard the Bible. Like everyone knew that was a biblical saying. But
Exactly.
like and that builds a sense of like
Community.
identity. Yeah, that he's like speaking our language, but you can't really do that anymore because they don't know these memes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah. So either, well, basically it has to become way more intense. It has
Mhm.
to be like for sure weekly church and then probably Bible reading during the weekdays or something.
See, I think well, I think you need a school, like, for kids.
That would be great.
That's really ideal.
Yeah, Christian schools.
Mhm. Um,
And they should be like kind of standardized.
yeah.
Like so that all the kids everywhere are getting this, and they should be weird, right? They should be like anti anti-empire as
Yeah.
much as
Here's the
possible.
thing, I don't like when people get, like, too weird or, like, too cloistered that
Go back and forth.
they can't go back and forth or, like, they know, like I'm not a fan of pop culture, but, like, it's hard to, like, find things to talk about with people like that sometimes. Like, people that have been completely, like, sheltered from everything.
Hmm.
It's like you feel like you didn't even grow up in, like, the same.
Like Judas Starchai, like
Yeah.
he's so weird
I
that,
was thinking more of, like, Amish type people, you
yeah.
know?
Well, I don't even know any Amish people. I mean,
Mhm.
but yeah,
This is
I
what I
guess
like
so.
too, like, I don't
And
know if
you're
you what?
well, you're right too that it does seem like. I mean, at least when you read like Jesus saying like, I send you out as sheep among the wolves, or like be in the world but not of it. Like there is kind of a call to stay engaged with like empire people.
Yeah,
Like you're not
exactly.
actually supposed to only live in the catacombs forever.
And I feel like some churches too have this kind of, like, Luddite attitude
Mhm.
when, like, they really should be, like, recording their sermons. Like, if they're really serious,
Yeah.
shouldn't that all be, like, public? Or is it just, like, for show? I don't know.
It's interesting. You're pulling me in a new direction. Like so it's hard like yeah, John Harris just said that's what I was thinking. Catacombs are a good place for now though. Like because I think first you need to like we haven't established separation yet. Like we
Yeah.
need like I think first we need our own literature, our own history, something like our own language, or at least like our own memes, and then it would be easier to go back out into like global culture and not lose yourself there. You know, but
Mhm.
gosh, I hate all this too because this really is trying to figure out how to live as a diaspora. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that's true. Although, like, Christianity also has that thing, like, it's like, how you said the other day, I think you like DM'd me or something where you said that you understood what I meant when I was talking about the parallels between like red pilling and preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
Like, um, not everyone will hear you right away, of course. That's true. And like certainly the early disciples heard people say to them, "No," and "You're crazy," and "Get out of here." So like that'll happen. But it does seem like eventually they found traction. I mean, it took 2 or 300 years, but like out of the catacombs they came, and eventually, like pretty much the whole empire converted. I mean, I guess it's never been clear to me to what extent it was all voluntary, and to what extent it was Constantine saying like, "You're Christians now," you
I
know.
I wonder about that too.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's funny. It's like we were hoping that Trump would be our Constantine, and it's like how naive now, you know. It
Yeah.
just seems pathetic, but yeah, I like these. I mean, it's nice to give um like number 192. What are the chief spiritual works of mercy? Admonish the sinner.
And then you notice, like, in these things, it doesn't say, like, "Send all your money to Africa," and, like,
Hmm.
I don't know if you were looking at the last page, hold
Yeah, I
on.
saw him. Yeah,
But it's all about, like, helping your family and, like, helping your neighborhood and,
yeah.
you know, it's not like, these things like, feeding the hungry doesn't mean, like, feeding all of Africa.
Hmm.
It does not say that.
I wish this is. It's interesting in the way that like that Catholics think to me,
Mhm.
because like let me see if I can articulate this. Like I have grown up so deracinated and godless, basically, that like I acquired Jewish mind, and by Jewish mind, I don't mean Orthodox Jewish mind. I mean like destructive diaspora Jewish mind, which means culture of critique mind. And so, like, I'll see a thing like this, and I have this tendency to go like, "Well, you should at least cite what verse you're thinking about when you
They do in
say."
a lot of it.
Well,
Right
like,
here, Matthew 25:40,
where?
right
Oh,
here.
okay, yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know, to visit the imprisoned, to shelter the homeless, to visit the sick, to bury the dead, to clothe the naked, um, bring food to the needy, share your candy, go like, I mean, I
Mercy,
okay.
isn't
So the
it?
thing, like, I have, you know who you? I wish I could introduce you to my mother-in-law.
Yeah,
You would get it. You would get it. The first time I met her, okay, I was like, "Oh my god, like this lady is from she's almost like Carrie's mom from the Stephen King show, you know?
okay.
Like they have like crucifixes up all over their house. She goes to church like 4 times a week. She's like always watching EWTN. It's like the only channel she watches. I mean, she's so deep in it. There's like icons and stuff, and I was like, oh, and like my mom was like a modernist. Like I grew up in a house. She worked at an architect's studio, and I had like chrome and black everywhere, you know.
Mhm.
So this was like a real departure for me. But then, like, I started talking to her, and I realized that she's 100% Irish. She's 100% Irish Catholic, and she had, I think, 8 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
None of them grew up and went to church. Most of them are like divorced or didn't have kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She stayed married, had her 2 kids, and never stopped going to church. And it's like, it's really admirable, actually. Like it makes her strange and seem like dorky, but she's won me over, you know. And then
Mhm.
the scary, sad part is that my wife can't stand it. We have no crucifixes. She hates church, and like,
Yeah, 'cause she had the Novus Ordo, and
yeah, probably,
it's fake. It's
yeah.
completely fake and gay.
And also, that's probably why my mother-in-law's 8 brothers and sisters
Exactly.
stopped going to church.
Yeah, millions of people
Hmm.
stopped going to church when that happened.
She had two of her brothers and sisters. The last 2 had Down syndrome. One of them died earlier, but she still takes the other one, who's like 60,
Wow.
to church at least once a week and stuff.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. It's like it's so true, you know. It's so like based, but I don't know. And also she's so welcoming to me, and like I'll go sometimes to their church. I remember the first time I went to their church, like over Christmas, we'd go home and they'd invite me. And I don't think I had really ever paid attention or been to a Catholic church before. And sitting there when they had to go up and get the Eucharist,
Mhm.
it's like, they're actually at first for a minute it made me like pissed. I was like, how dare they exclude me?
Right.
But then I was like, oh, that's pretty based. Like, because like that creates the separation you need.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Did, did your church have communion?
yeah, we did.
How
Um,
what was that like?
like grape juice and um, like I think they would
Hawaiian
pass.
bread?
They had them all like pre-cut into little cubes that they would
Okay.
like pass around and in little wine cups. Like my wife tells me that at the Catholic Church, there's like a loaf of bread that they'll just like break off, or no, I guess it's the wafers, but and they share out of the wine jug or
Yeah,
something.
that's wrong. That's not supposed to happen. That's
But
Vatican II.
oh,
Only the
really?
priest is you're supposed to drink the
Drink
wine.
the wine? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. That's interesting.
yep. That's
Um,
it's called communion under both species, and that was condemned by Pius X.
wow,
They really, like,
that's
turned it upside down.
fascinating.
It's, like,
Wait,
hard to,
but why
like
is that?
why is what?
I didn't know that. Like, what? What?
Because they
When did they
wanted to make
start?
themselves like Protestants, basically.
No, but when? Why? See, this is the kind of question. I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna just say because it's tradition, but like,
Mhm.
why did they establish the tradition that only the priests drink the wine? And like, when did that start? And who decided it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, you can
Like
people research this and they'll
yeah,
cite different
yeah,
doctors and saints and things that will
yeah.
talk about it, so I don't know how far back that
Okay,
goes.
and you
A lot of
think
this stuff
like,
does go a lot of this stuff really does actually go back to, like, the
mhm,
very early on, like, here's
yeah, I know.
here's one thing, in the early church, they worshipped like, they would have their mass or whatever on the tombs of martyrs. That's why they put relics in the altars of,
Based.
um, the, bleh, the Catholic altar, like, there has to be relics inside of it. Well, they got rid of that with Vatican II, but it used to be that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah. So you think like, well, say what you think, so I don't put words in your mouth about the literal transubstantiation.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What they
Well, I
basically
don't mean
tell
like what do
you
you believe? I mean like what do they believe and what does that mean?
it basically, means that God can work miracles and do supernatural things because he's God.
My
Like, we're
mother-in-law,
not able to, like, fully understand it because we can't, fully understand the mystery of God. I don't know, that's what they say. I'm not.
my mother-in-law is gluten intolerant and
Mhm,
totally avoids gluten, but
mhm.
eats the wafer because she says it's the body of Jesus.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing? I
yeah.
love that. I love that.
What else is in here? See, yeah, I thought this
But
would be really good for your girls because it breaks it down in such,
yeah.
like, simple language, and it's just black and white, easy, digestible, it looks official, you know?
Mhm.
It doesn't look like someone just, like, slapped this together, and it was used for, like, 50 years in, like, pretty much every Catholic school,
Yeah, it is
the
interesting.
English
I might
speaking
just
ones.
order a copy just to have it around.
Please order
They'll
a copy. It's
yeah,
number
my
2, the new St. Joseph Catechism number 2, St.
okay.
Joseph Catechism.
Yeah, my girls will read anything right now, so I'll
That's
just have
awesome.
one lying around and they'll read it. But yeah, I don't know. And then there's also the question of like, honestly, it's like, okay, so is my blood Protestant? Because
No,
it
it's
sometimes
not.
feels like that
It
because
may feel like that, but no, because there was no such thing as Protestant for how long? Even
well, right,
longer
for
than there has
1500 years.
been.
Yeah.
And I just feel like what what is the point of Protestants? Like, you're like unaesthetic and like everything has to be like dumbed down. Like I just don't get it.
No, the point of Protestants is we don't trust um, the priest class.
Okay, that's interesting. Why though? Like what if, because I know this is interesting, and I was reading in a book, like in Ireland, like the priests would be, the same people as the the people. Like they were from taken from that. It wasn't like there was like some foreign priest caste like ruling over you.
Right. No,
It'd be like
yeah.
the same race or whatever.
Although, but it would still be based in Rome.
Sort of, but I mean,
Well, like I think there was a long-standing kind of skepticism of Roman power even before Catholicism, going back to like the barbarians. So,
mhm,
like for instance, like I think I think that Christianity only took root in like Northern Europe in like the 8th century. And
no, not
then
in England. It took root in
okay, not
England in like
England,
the fourth
but I was
century.
thinking of like
Scandinavia.
Denmark and Scandinavia and
Yeah,
stuff.
that may be true.
And so like they were only Christians for a, well, I guess 1,000 years, not quite 1,000 years. I guess that's
Mhm.
a long time, but like it's weird to try to think about my blood. Like I actually think, see, what I think sometimes is like I've been deracinated like multiple times,
Yeah.
like there was my druidical ancestors who built Stonehenge or something, but then they got imperialized by the Romans who made them into Christians, and they like couldn't fight it off, so they became Christians. And
Hmm.
then they became Protestants. And then now they've become like globo homo people. And so you try to like tune into what am I really? And
Right.
it's too much. That's too much of a burden for an individual, to try to figure out.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think that all of Europe was Catholic for a long time, 1,000 years. You know, that's a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, but oh man, I don't know. Why can't I get into it? Does anyone like are there Protestants in the chat? I wonder if anyone gets my because like what I like
The problem is
I'm
like what you like don't like this, but like what do you want to replace it with exactly? Like you want like you don't like Baroque Rome, so you want everything to be like simple or like
no, I mean like I don't even know, to be honest with you. Like
you
I do
like
like I
New
actually
England
love, don't get me,
style
like if
Cellbox Protestantism? Like
okay, like if the me that you're actually talking to, the not like a theoretical me, but just actually me. I love Baroque Rome and I love the whole Renaissance Florentine thing.
mhm.
But it doesn't feel like mine either. It feels like a little
But,
bit
like
foreign or something.
that's why you need to like look more into like Anglo Catholicism. Like
Well, and it okay,
this
yeah,
is
that's
Anglo
true.
Catholicism. Does this look foreign or does this is
Mm,
American?
kind of, yeah. But
Um,
it like it
I see what you're saying, but I think that
like
like
I do picture, actually I do kind of picture um stern like New England Protestants as my inheritance, which like I guess it means like almost like log cabin churches. And I don't know,
that's funny. There's actually like a specific. I'll show you a picture of it.
yeah,
This log church is a Catholic church. It's really cool.
cool, yeah. I mean, it's interesting though because I mean like okay, well when I went to the St. Peter's Basilica
Yeah.
in Rome, I was like I mean it'll blow anyone's mind. It's like whew, it is something else, like there's no place on earth like that place. It's so big and beautiful and amazing. But then I'm just like how is this what Jesus wanted? Like Jesus of
Because we're not
blessed are the poor and
because yeah, but like the poor like love going to places like this. That's the thing. It's not like it's like exclusively reserved for like the rich to go inside of St. Peter's.
right.
Like
Like
anyone
kind of,
can
yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
aren't we supposed to like do our absolute best for God? Like we should just build like a crappy church or like
No, but it's like
to like
isn't
the
that
Bi
like materialist though to build?
no, it's not. The thing is that human beings are visual. Like we I don't know, like why would we be given like all of these gifts and like be able to like build these cathedrals and like paint
Yeah.
frescoes if God didn't want us to do those things? Like
I
that
mean,
is
they're
like plain wall.
definitely, you know what? They are definitely better than
A
um
plain wall?
like yeah, or I was just gonna say like, modern bank buildings and stuff. Like they have a sense of design, like logos. They have they embody goodness somehow.
Well, yeah, and yeah,
I mean, to be honest though, I was walking through Manhattan today, and there are
churches.
nice churches here that are
Oh
like,
yeah.
Episcopalian and Presbyterian and
Actually, one
whatever.
of the biggest churches in America, it's an Episcopalian church in Manhattan. I can't
Yeah, and
remember.
they're pretty nice. Like
They're really nice.
they had a real sense of craft
That's
even
the
up
thing, like,
through 1900.
what was like Episcopalianism or something?
Mhm.
Like that's basically Catholic.
Right,
And
but it's like national Catholic, you know?
it's national Catholic, but also like I don't know, like okay, this is something that you would see like, you know, Protestants would say against Catholics like in the 1800s or something. And say like why do you want to like go on like a pilgrimage to the Holy Land
Yeah,
or to Rome or to like
yeah,
wherever? Like they didn't like that. And like I think that that's pretty cool. Like the Chart I don't know if you know about this, like the Chart pilgrimage, like that was like
yeah.
last week, and they march like from Paris to Chartres, and it's cool. Like I like stuff like that. Like that's the tradition. I just don't see like what's so bad about that.
Christians should start making pilgrimages to Jerusalem again.
But
That
that's
would
like
be
a Catholic thing, like pilgrimage.
yeah.
Like I guess there were like the pilgrims that called themselves that.
No, but they did it. I mean, that was a different thing, right? Like they were leaving.
Right.
But
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like I guess maybe it's part of me is like, there's this thing I go back and forth about it. Like obviously I'm kind of hyper literate in this like Judeo-Puritan way, and that's a big like I guess the question for me is like, was that a mistake? Like, was literacy a mistake? Because most of
No,
Catholic
what? No, no, no,
history,
no, 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 no. That's
okay,
crazy.
no, but listen, wait, let me finish that thought. Because like for
Okay.
most of Catholic history, the vast majority were, if not illiterate, like basically
That's
illiterate. They
because
were
there
just
was no printing press.
right. But that's when it worked. That's when it was unified. You know what I mean?
But
Like
it
that.
but it did work.
But
It
like as soon as you get a printing press and everybody has a Bible and reads, you get you get this schisming because people all think like you've got Anne Hutchinson and whatever.
see, I
Like,
don't I think this was I think it was like a top down
I mean, like
thing.
even to
I don't
this
think this was
day,
like what?
like I remember when I went to my Catholic cousin's wedding was the first time I noticed this when I was like 22. We went into the big Catholic church, and there were no Bibles in the pews, and I was like, "What?" And my cousin goes, "Yeah, they keep the Bible locked away in the basement here."
Okay, that's not true.
Well, she was joking, but like they don't really. I don't think there is like a Bible reading culture
No, there's not.
in the
Because
same way there is even among like Southern Baptists, you know?
there's so many other books to read.
Yeah, that's the thing is like they've been taken by like Hollywood basically, you know? And so now the Catholic Church is dying because they're in competition with better meme makers and better like image makers kind of, you know?
That's not why the Catholic Church is dying. They're dying because they decided to become Protestant.
Well, yeah, that didn't help, I guess. And
Why
actually you're
don't
right because the
if this is
whole
like okay, go ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the whole like the old like incense swinging like whatever you call that old fashioned spooky liturgy
Mhm.
um
Mass?
yeah, yeah, the real one I guess was like that is a kind of image in the sense that
Yeah, let's watch one.
it's like an experience
Oh, yeah.
and so like yeah, even to this day, I guess if you were in a really based, awesome cathedral and they were still doing that kind of stuff, and there was chanting and the organ, that could almost measure up, right? Like that's probably even as cool as like an IMAX theater or something, maybe.
It's not an IMAX theater though. It's sacred. It's not entertainment. And that's the thing. Like, I was
Yeah, but I
actually
think
gonna,
like, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna mention, like, when I say like there needs to be a whole counterculture, like there needs to be like movies, and there were Christian movies. Well,
Right.
that's what the Passion of the Christ was. But like
Yeah.
also before, the 60s happened, there's like long lists of like movies about Catholic saints and like Bible things and like Christian movies. Like that is its own medium, and that can be used just as much
Hmm.
to promote, but it's not the same as going to church. And also like just this whole like culture surrounding learning the chants, like learning the Gregorian chants, learning to play the organ, like learning to sing these like six-part harmonies. Like that is like how
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
lift themselves like above the empire, and like they're
Right.
taking part in
I
something.
see. I agree with you. This is like participation in an event or an experience,
Mhm.
and they would have their like on their holidays, like I don't know, they'd do like an Easter like parade, like not a parade, but like a
A procession. There's a
yeah,
procession
like yeah, the
like,
processions and
tomorrow. It's
stuff.
a Corpus Christi procession. That yeah, it's
Yeah, those kinds of things are like those feel good. But again, like those are not they don't require literacy. And I think this
no.
isn't I don't know, like I'm not I mean I know it's unrealistic to be like against literacy, but
I
it
don't think,
seems
but it's the Protestants that are like the ones that hate Harry Potter and like hate fantasy and like hate reading and don't like it. You know, isn't it like what about
uh
all these like G.K. Chesterton and all these people? Like, aren't they like the intellectuals? They were always Catholic. Even like C.S. Lewis, who wasn't,
mm,
basically
I
was.
don't know, like most of the 19th century, I mean those were all like all of our great
Yeah,
early
but the
writers were
19th century was a
Protestants.
bunch of atheists too. I'm talking
I
about like
mean,
people that actually are serious about religion.
oh yeah. I don't know. Yeah, probably you're right. Like in America, it would be like William James, and yeah, but like, although like I don't know. I think of like Nathaniel Hawthorne as a pretty serious like thinker. Um, but yeah, even he was probably like a Unitarian atheist, basically.
Yeah.
But Je- yeah. What do you think about Jesuits? Do you have thoughts about the Jesuits?
Like the modern Jesuits or like actual Jesuits?
Um, I don't really know. I just know the joke is like they're crypto Jews or something.
Well, the big like Jesuit guy, he's like gay, basically. Whoever you're thinking of. Yes, can you see this?
Yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome. Like,
Wait, no, but everyone else can't see it. Hold on. It's
oh,
not good.
I mean, I'm not like I wish I could explain my position better. I haven't quite articulated. Like, I think it's awesome. It's just that I'm like, is that it's
Do you
it's
want to see something
awesome.
like that's less like I mean this is
It's
Poland.
like, have you ever been into like an NFL football game is also awesome, but it's not what Jesus wanted, you
Well,
know?
this is not, but this is the 1700-year-old tradition that's unbroken. So how can you say,
Well, it's not that old because they didn't have these amazing gold altars
yes, they did.
for the
Yes,
first
they did. That
500.
was what
No,
the tombs of the martyrs were.
they weren't. I mean, when were the first like mega churches built?
Well, I'm not talking about the fact that it's a cathedral. I mean, we could watch a video that's in like a catacomb and it's the same mass. It doesn't matter where it is necessarily. I mean, the ones that like most of the time when it is the old mass, it is in like a basement.
Why does it feel so NPC-ish to me? Like, why do they always look like robots? The priests.
Because they're not supposed to put their personality into it. Because
But
that
what about like
here, I'm going to show you something.
wait,
Something
wait,
of that.
wait. What do you say about the Pentecost? Like the the spirit, you know? Like
Spirit?
I love these like old-timey like Baptist dunk you in
That's
a
for blacks.
river
That's for
preachers.
blacks.
Yeah, that's for black.
Here, this
Yeah.
this is good. This is a
But
good
what
theory.
about white trash too, you know? Like I don't know. This seems very like
Watch this. This is good.
okay.
It's funny. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a joke.
Yeah.
Hold on. But like this is what I mean. Like it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean clearly.
And
Yeah.
I don't have the sound on, but it's even funnier if you have the sound on.
But I hate this stuff to be honest, like watching somebody fold like napkins.
Yeah, but that's how you have to
It's
be civilized, otherwise you get this.
yeah. Did you ever read Flannery O'Connor? You know, she's a Catholic.
No, I haven't, but I know of her.
You should read Wise Blood. It's about this like basically hyper Protestant mad preacher guy.
Uh-huh.
And just I read it the wrong way. Like I know she wants me to hate him, but I kind of love him. Like I don't know. Read Wise Blood.
I think this is funny though, this guy right here.
Didn't you see the Raiders of or what? Not the Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Temple of Doom.
Hmm?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
No.
Where like he has to choose which one was the real chalice that Jesus drank out of at the Last Supper. And there's all these different chalices,
No,
and
I
the
haven't
first
seen
guy
it.
chooses like a gold fancy one, and he dies right away. So then Indiana has to choose, and he chooses like this little clay cup, and it was that one.
Funny.
Maybe
Oh,
that was
one
Hollywood subversion
what?
though. Maybe that was Hollywood subversion though. You never know, I guess.
Hold on.
Oh, Last Crusade. That's right, Philip. Thank you. Couldn't think of that.
Hold on. This is funny.
Smallest church. I've been there. Oh wait, is it? Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. It's in like Savannah or Charleston.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking of
Oh,
actually. Oh, you've actually been to it? That's funny.
yeah, yeah. It's cool. Yep.
This is I was thinking of something else. Hold on. Oh wait, he turned okay, no, I remember now.
I mean,
Oh, this.
what is this?
He's doing the Latin mass in a shed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, that's pretty cool. I don't know. It's just the whole garments and stuff. Like none of this is mentioned. And what about like?
Yeah, but what's the alternative? You want people to just wear like Hawaiian shorts or like I
Yeah,
don't
I
really
mean,
get it.
yeah, I do. I actually do. Like, I literally do. Look at me. Like, I
But you want
abjure. Is
like
that the word? I abjure
but if okay,
luxury and
listen to me.
fanciness. Yeah, I'm listening.
If that was like a guy who was like administering the sacraments to you, would you take it seriously if he was wearing shorts?
I mean, well, we have to talk about the sacraments then, because like I don't really do the sacraments.
I know, and you're like depriving yourself of it.
I mean, like this, like it is interesting, right? Like, because here's a story that'll like keep you up tonight, because like my I'm on my third child, and we're gonna do the same one for this kid that we did for the first two, which is we take them to the ocean and baptize them ourselves.
Mhm.
And like, who knows if that counts or not? I sure hope it does, but it's like, I guess I don't think the whole thing about like you know how the priest makes the water holy and stuff.
Mhm.
That's just I am of too little faith, I guess. Like, or it
Mhm.
feels more like I'm putting my faith in the wrong thing.
Hmm.
Like I said to a friend one time, you know how like you know how they met at the Council of Nicaea to like nail down the biblical canon
Mhm.
and to decide like what the Bible would be.
Yeah.
Like I realized one time that you have to first put faith that they got it right.
Yeah.
And like that frustrates me, I guess. Like it's a weird thing, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know.
You wanna read this thing about the sacraments?
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen yeah. I kind of know these. You know, I've talked to my wife about all this stuff. And like you know what she said too? My wife said that when she went for her first confession, shouldn't that be on here somewhere? Con-
That's penance.
Oh yeah. Um she was like, you know, how old are you when you do that? Like 7 or something?
Mhm.
And she said she couldn't think of any, and so she lied and made up some sins in order to confess them, which is just perfect irony, right? It's
That's weird, yeah.
like the whole like it was like she had to commit her first sin in order to commit her first confession or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like
So you don't think we need, like, rites of passage like this
I
or
do. I okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Actually, there's a good point. Like okay, rituals and rites of passage and like hazing, you know, those kind that's what that would be called in a secular context. Like it's probably good. And I actually did it. I did confirmation class and it was pretty dumb, but at the end of it we had to like stand up in front of everybody and I don't know, say some, you know, raise your hand and say I do or something. And like
Mhm,
it's, you know, it's like they get you right when you're 13 and kind of feeling vulnerable and it takes a little bit of courage to do that. And that's probably good because you're in it with your 6 or 7 other confirmees and I don't know, that's probably a good thing. So yeah, maybe that's I'm not against it. I guess the problem is that it's it's easy to confuse a person and make them think that these things are the essence of the faith when in reality I think they aren't.
You don't? Really?
No, I don't think they are.
What
Like
is the
I
essence of the faith then?
just faith,
So
like in God.
you don't have to, like, live your faith anyway?
No, it's like unmediated. It's like you're just justified by your faith, you know.
But you were just saying at the beginning of this that most people are not you know what? I'm gonna include myself in this.
Hmm.
I was not smart enough to figure anything out for myself.
Yeah, that's true.
I need like, when I looked at this book, I was
Hmm.
like, "I really wish someone would have given this to me when I was, like, 9."
Yeah.
It would have saved me a lot of time.
Well, I agree with you that it's better than nothing. So I can go that far. It's like yeah, I think you're right actually. Probably we need something like this. Cuz I mean,
This is what's worked for centuries,
cuz
basically.
like like yeah, I think you're right, I guess. I guess you're right. I'm changing my answer. What? I can change my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's difficult because, you know, there's so many arguments in the New Testament that kind of come down to some Pharisee saying like, "Did you do things right?" You
Mhm,
know? And Jesus and Paul always come back with like, "Hey man, it's not about that. It's about like getting the spirit of the law, which is worship of God basically."
mhm,
And so like right, like Chris Alton says, yeah, like in fact, actually great example. Like John the Baptist was just dunking people in the river and kind of making up rituals as he goes. And like that's sort of the essence of the faith, you know, or there's
mm.
like I don't know.
I guess, like, I don't that's not the culture that I want. I don't want this, like,
Yeah,
thing
wild
where it's
culture.
just, like, hippy dippy, like, everyone can do it themselves, and we
Mm.
all just, like, go in a circle and,
It's
like
weird, like you know what it is? You really want Judaism. Why don't you just be a
no, I
Jew?
don't want Judaism.
You
I
like
really
you
don't.
don't know you want it, but you do. You want like the law and the
That's
rules.
ridiculous, though. Like, you how can
It,
you say, like, that you don't need any laws at all?
I mean, it's not like you don't. It's what I'm saying is, you're making Christianity into just like
I'm making wait, whoa, 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 whoa. You're the one that's making Christianity into what you want it to be. This is like actually the
yeah.
unbroken tradition that goes back.
Yeah, but now it's not. I think they screwed it up by like the 3rd century.
So there was no Christianity until 1500, 50 or what?
I mean, there were probably like crypto, like real Christians, like kind of managing the best they could, but like,
But how they couldn't even read the Bible because there was no printing press. They didn't
mm,
have a Bible.
oh, good point. Probably some of them like were able to derive what was really going on. My favorite, Lou Duva. Lou Duva's here. Lou Duva's here. Yeah, like it's just the thing is like it's like it's operating like a bank, the Catholic Church, and I don't like it as much. I
A
don't know.
bank?
Like it's do you know what I'm saying? Are you I can't tell if you're arguing with me or really
Okay,
don't
but
understand me. Do you
you're
understand me?
saying that don't you want like schools and like an institution, or you just want like a free for all like I don't understand.
You don't understand.
Like the thing is that you need institutions like to function. Like you
But
need schools,
institutions are like slavery, and I don't want to submit to a yoke of slavery again, you know?
but like our government is more like that in my
Well,
opinion.
but it's not more like that than the Holy Roman Empire was. I mean, it was the same thing. It was just a bunch of hierarchy and rules.
Hmm. I don't know, but like which rules are you like do you have such a problem with exactly? Like you just think like
Like it's funny because it's like the rules of like again, it's people are putting their faith in these sacraments, and these lead them away from what really matters, which is like faith in Jesus, like faith that Jesus was the Christ and that he rose from the dead and all that stuff.
but how are you supposed to have faith if like
Because the faith is like in, yeah, you're saying like, because you wouldn't even know the story
yeah.
without church. Well, I don't know. Like we have the Bible now, so
Yeah, but
like,
what so like everything that happened like after the Bible is just
well, let me restart. Like, I basically think I'm still thinking like I'm still thinking like basically like they did at the Council of Nicaea. Like I'm not accepting that they got it right. Like what if they got it wrong? Or what if there were some subverters there? Or what if there were some greedy people there who were sinners who, wanted to make a hierarchy emerge, giving them authority over other people? Like, you see what I'm saying?
sure.
So like when I read the book of Acts, that's the essence of it to me. And they're like basically kind of like meeting in each other's houses and helping each other.
That's so funny though because that is exactly like what what people do now who actually want to practice like Christianity because the Vatican doesn't allow it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're kind of right. Like,
Like they're I mean like independent priests and things like
well,
you
actually,
can
you know
have
how
them.
you said, here's a great, okay, we're gonna reach agreement here. Remember how in the last stream we did, you said that the ordinations that took place after Vatican II might not be
Yes.
legit, right?
I'm
So
kind of
what's
leaning
gonna
towards
happen?
them not being at all.
Yeah, so like what is gonna happen to people who really want to practice like the true faith when
They
all
are
those
they are practicing the true faith. I mean they're practicing it um independently basically.
well,
That's
they're gonna have to start ordaining their own priests, right?
they've been ordaining their own priests for 50 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what all those videos of those sermons are that I send you.
Oh,
Well,
so those are illegit from like the Roman perspective?
from the Roman perspective, but they're the ones who were ordained like, the same way that people have been ordained for 1,000 years. Like that right hasn't changed.
Do they wear well, why like I just don't get all the fancy clothes and stuff. It doesn't do it for me. Like I
Well, like, what should they wear then? Like a
what
suit?
did Jesus Christ wear? Like a
Yeah, but
sackcloth and sandals. Like who cares what they wear? You know, I just that seems really like I hate when I hate all of it. Like every time I see, in fact, you know what? It's not just the Catholics. Also hate the Southern Baptists who show up wearing a Joseph A. Banks suit and a light green tie with their hair slicked over. It's like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? It's so fake. Like, I want like people to just sit at my campfire in the backyard and
you
agree.
can do that. You can do that and, like, be Christian. You don't that's not church though, you know? Like, who is gonna teach your children, I guess, you
Well, I
know?
mean, I'm trying, but
But, like, for school, like, don't you need, like, a school to, like, teach kids?
yeah, but what are you saying? You think that only people who dress up fancy? This is I got in this conversation with a student one time, and she reminded me of you, or the other way around.
No, I don't think that only people who dress up fancy, but I think that people that have a tradition that they've been doing it for a long time
Yeah,
and they know what works, I trust them.
I had this girl student once who I can't remember how we got to talking about this, but we were talking about uh, clothing and stuff, and I said to her like, you because like I always dress in like basically street clothes, I dress down to teach. Like I've got a plaid shirt untucked and jeans. And that's my outfit. And like, you know, I've even heard women colleagues complain about this. They'll say like I couldn't get away with that because I'm a woman or whatever. And I'm like, well, maybe you don't have as much charisma and authority as I do implicitly or something. But this one girl says to me one day, she goes, you know, Dr. Pratt, if you, whoops, I just doxed myself. If you would dress up a little bit, I would take you more seriously. And I gave her a lot of credit for saying it, but it was like it was like
Well,
I wanted to I wanted to like embarrass her. I was like, "Why? That's crazy." Like think of how easy like Joel Osteen can dress up.
yeah, but he looks like crap.
I mean,
That guy sucks. He's just in it to make money for himself. Like,
I
what
don't
are
know.
the Catholic priests, like, they don't make any money. They're you know, like, they're doing it because they want to. They don't get anything. They sleep in, like, a cell.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's a good conversation. I don't have it settled, but it's interesting.
I'm looking for fun comics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, this whole idea of the mass, it's supposed to be, um, a sacrifice, and it's supposed to be kinda spooky because it's sad that God was crucified, and, you know, they're basically showing you that.
Are you Brundlefly wants to know if you're going to baptize your son.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I do, then he is.
Oh, you haven't been baptized?
No.
Oh. Are you still thinking about it or just like waiting for the right weather?
Waiting for the right weather?
Yeah, like I mean, you know, just well, I mean, I'm not making fun of you actually cuz I first of all, I am not even close to becoming a Catholic because my wife doesn't want to.
Mhm,
And I also am not very enthralled by what I see at the like Methodist church that sometimes been going to.
mhm,
So I haven't baptized my kids in a church. I don't
mhm,
like I did it myself in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and I hope that counts, you know. Maybe I
mhm.
should have said it in Latin. Maybe I'll do that with my son. But what I mean by waiting for the right weather is um you know, like I don't know. What are you waiting for? Like are
Well,
you
they
still
haven't told me that I can.
oh, really?
Um,
What do you have to do? Is it that
they're
hard?
they're teaching me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say, though? Wait, here's the thing, I sent you that video, and I didn't send it because I liked the guy's outfit, I sent it because I liked what he was saying.
I didn't get to watch it. Sorry, I've been like streaming constantly
That's
basically.
okay. he's a hard ass, and that's what I like. Like, I don't want some, like, hippy dippy guy to be like, "Yeah, just do what's in your heart." Like, I
Right.
want them to be like, "Do this, and otherwise you're gonna go to hell." And that's what he says, you
Mhm.
know?
I think you're right in a way, like, when you're a kid,
Yeah.
you kind of need that story, like, to
Not
be
even
real.
when you're just a kid, though. I think adults need this too.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. See, and that's the thing is, like, it's hard for me to discern whether I'm, um, like, a Protestant or whether I've been, like Jude.
I think it's interesting that
Meaning, like, you know what I mean by that? Like,
I
because
think
I have this real tendency to, like, be critical and, like, make fun of stuff and, be skeptical and, listen to Nirvana, and it's like, at some point, maybe I should just like or I it's see, the thing is I'm 41, I'm, like, very I can't it's gonna be a hard leap for me, but, like, I'm maybe it's a tragedy that I didn't grow up so dude, I wonder if the guys in the chat it seems, like, unmanly, though, a lot of what you're saying.
what does?
All this, like, obedience, this kind of unquestioning obedience to these rituals and stuff, like, I just
Hmm.
wanna trash it. There's a part of me that wants to take a baseball bat to everything you're saying.
See, that's the thing though, is like I like it. I like Gregorian chanting and like that kind of thing. Like I think that's the exact thing that people are looking for when they like do yoga and like meditation and all of these things. Like they're actually looking for the mass and want to hear Gregorian chant every week. But I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I like monasticism and all of these things. Maybe that makes me like
Oh, that's true. Brundlefly says you're also not an Anglo. And that's true, like, maybe my blood is really more like
no, there are plenty of Anglos that are into
but
this.
that's what I yeah.
There are
Yeah, I
plenty.
guess you're right. There
Like
are
Bishop
some there are.
Williamson is from England.
Is he?
Yeah. And
But
actually, like, England is interesting. There's a lot more Catholicism in England than in, say, Scandinavia or something.
it's funny because like,
There's
I
been
feel
a
like
lot more, like, books written about how the Reformation was a mistake and things like that in English. Anyway, go ahead.
I definitely feel like I understand your take on this, and I, like, appreciate it and get it, but it's like it seems like you should understand me better given, like, where you're coming from.
Mhm.
Y
Why? What do you
you
mean?
like, you grew up basically like an atheist in the empire.
Yeah.
Well, like, so, like, I mean, don't you remember that feeling of, like, "We're not gonna take it," you know?
What do you mean?
Like, "You gotta fight for your right to party?"
I
Like
don't wanna party anymore, though.
yeah, but,
Everyone
like, I know, but come on, you're 40 or whatever, like, don't you remember being a kid? Like, this is the thing is when people are like, "Oh, don't masturbate," it's like, that's easy to say when you're 50, but it's like, we have to leave a little room for human nature.
well, yeah, of course you do. No one's saying, like, you're not gonna ever sin or whatever. Like, everyone sins every day, including a priest, and the priest will tell you that.
There, that's good. Tom says, "I hate that fake and gay spirit of rebellion that permeates the American soul." So that's what I was looking for. Like,
The thing is, like, it's like,
is
what
that true? Or like, is that like I want the chat to even fight about that. Like, because it feels so deep in me that spirit of rebellion. But maybe it is bad. I don't know. I can't decide. Because like this is what the American Revolution was. You know what I mean? Like all my ancestors were like rebels and um almost like I mean, certainly Protestants, certainly not like King
yeah, but
the
they were
Cr-
forcefully made Protestants to begin with.
well, then I don't know, they became it, you know? I mean, they were forcibly made Catholics first, you know?
Yeah, but that it was for a lot longer.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
Yeah.
reading the chat, sorry.
I am too. I mean, it's like, fuck, I don't know. Yeah, I am being subverted. Who said that? That's true. Brundle said you're being subverted. Like maybe that's true because it leaves me feeling like, you know, like, oh, I don't know am I doing this right or not? And that that like feeling of like indecision and uncertainty. It like then that way there will be no decisive action and the global homo can continue forever.
Right. I don't know. I guess like the only people that I see like doing anything and like building like halfway decent institutions like are those people.
Okay. Brundle wants me to take a stand. Like I'll take a stand. Like I think like I'm down for, you know, Bible reading, like almost like forcible baptizing, like crazy Protestant, like that's what I like is like, those mountain preaching
Speaking of
weirdos.
tongues,
Yeah, almost like snake handlers. Like that's kind of it's not how I grew up, but it's kind of where I want us to end up.
yeah, no, I get that.
Like it's like spirit to me is important. Like I want
See, I hate like any sort of like improvisation.
yeah, but you're an artist. Like
Yeah, but
that
I know what I hate? Like dancing. Ugh.
yeah, it's hard to dance. But see, I want to be able to dance. That's the thing is like it's romanticism and you're a rationalist. You're like an enlightenment
No, I'm totally
person.
a romantic though.
Well, then you should be in favor of the spirit, which is,
No, because I don't
irrational.
want a bunch of like idiots like, falling on the floor
Well, you can't fake it. You shouldn't
and then
fake it.
telling me that I have to tell them how I feel or something.
Yeah, it's not I don't want that either. Those like
That's what they always do though. You always like sit in a circle and then like talk about feelings and crap. I just
no, I
ugh.
want like what I almost want is Jack Kerouac on the road, like let's leave the empire and go like convert strangers
No, I
while
would be willing
hitchhiking
to
on
like, compromise if you wanted to be like Mormon or something.
I don't know, man. I like it is weird. Like it's weird to think of all this. I for me, the only thing that ever actually clicks though is like uh kind of it's like reading the Bible to understand here's how we should finish this because like I gotta go in a minute. But like, don't you think that there is like I have this quote that I come back to a lot that says this is from Pascal. He says either the Christian or the Jew must be wicked. And he means it's like there really is a like cosmic tug of war happening
Mhm.
and you kind of have to choose sides. And what I take that to mean and what I see when I read the New Testament is that like it's not an ethnic war here or maybe it is from the Jewish perspective, but from the Christian perspective it's not. It's more like the law.
Spiritual war?
It's the law
Mhm.
or salvation by the law or law following versus like what I think of as actually I think almost first of Abrahamic faith, which is it's before Moses. So like what did Abraham do? That's what, Jesus talks about in Gospel of John. And what Abraham did was not follow the law. It was that he like listened to God. And like I think that's kind of what I think people should try to do.
Here's what I think.
Wait, one more thing.
Okay.
Have you ever read like enough Plato that you read this, like the Apology? Like
No.
like Socrates says he goes, "Okay, how do I know what to do?" And the answer is I basically do whatever I want. But when I'm about to do something I shouldn't do, there's a demon, by which he means like a voice or your conscience,
Mhm.
that stops me or it says, "Hey, don't do that." You know? And
Mhm.
so that's a lot different than having like Duvid does the 613 rules that you're trying to live by this algorithm.
I don't wanna live by those 613 rules either, though. I think
Right. So, but
that's
like, isn't the Catholic Church just creating a new like set
no,
of rules, kind of?
no. it's very liberal, especially compare when you compare it with like old style Protestants. They're so much stricter. Or like look at the freaking Amish. They're Pharisees. The Puritans were Pharisees.
Really? Yeah, I guess
Yeah, look,
so.
they're all like they all wear the exact same thing and it's creepy. They can't even drink. Like, I don't know. I don't maybe it is like I kind of see what you mean. Like
Will you apologize for Duvid and his statements brought up
maybe
online?
I'm more attracted to the like sort of Italian style preacher or something.
Yeah, that's like the serious. You
Yeah,
like the
or like
serious.
I like when they're serious and they're like hard on you and they're like if you don't, you know,
Is
um
this a fantasy?
no,
You
this is
don't have like a
exactly like
priest
the
fantasy.
what?
You don't have like a priest fantasy.
No,
Like,
it's not a fantasy. No.
okay,
Um Yeah, the video I sent you, which you need to watch it. I
I
don't
will.
care what you
Yeah.
think.
No, I'll watch it.
Listen to
I
him,
like
don't
watching.
look at him, just listen to what he's saying.
Okay, I will. I always watch it.
He, he's just like, "If you don't, if you don't believe, you're going to hell." He just says it. No one ever says that anymore.
Right. That's
No one ever
true.
says
Actually,
that. There's
that's a
no
true point.
compromise, you know? Anyway, sorry, what's going on?
Like, yeah, I'm just arguing with one of my friends in the chat. Like, I do think that there's like what do you think of? Have you ever read any Saint John of the Cross or Teresa of
Yeah.
Avila?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, what do you think of them? Because or like Meister Eckhart, these people are having like profound, we clearly recognizably psychological experiences that I would say are atypical and like they break from consensus reality. You know,
Mhm. I think
so
it's awesome.
yeah, it's isn't it awesome? And
Mhm.
the thing is, like a lot of that now would be pathologized as schizotypal or
There's another
whatever.
movie you should watch. It's
Yeah,
called
what is it?
The Song of Bernadette.
Oh, it sounds good.
It's
Yeah.
really good, and it's about, Saint Bernadette, and she was basically like and it's always like a peasant, like, having these visions and things.
Do you want to have Quantrell on? Because I think he's kind of been diagnosed as schizophrenic, and I could ask him a few questions.
That's okay.
Okay, never mind. Because the thing is, like, the reason that it's interesting to me is that like there's these frames, right? Like in the Empire, the frame is you're schizophrenic and basically you need to take lithium or something.
Yeah.
But like if we need to leave Empire so that we can recognize the schizotypals as like saints, basically.
That's exactly what happens in the movie, though. It's like this girl, she's, like, having visions, and these, like, rationalist, like, villain dudes in France, this takes place in France, um, they're like, "This girl needs to be put away. She's causing
Yeah,
all these problems. She's causing all these people to like, come do all these crazy things and they're all religious fanatics and they're crazy." And
yeah.
it's like, no, like maybe we need to like listen to her, you know?
Hmm.
And like maybe this is actually real. But those people they don't want to listen. It's a really good movie. It just yeah, I don't know. Well, what I was gonna say though, what I was gonna say, I know like you like the priesthood of all believers, blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah. But I like the priest like the real priesthood too, because I feel like they like are, dedicating their lives to like, imitating God, right?
I think so. I think so. I hope it didn't become a gay cloister. Like sometimes it seems like it did, at least in the 20th century.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about like Novus Ordo though.
Right.
I just mean like, the traditional ones.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like there's probably like good priests and bad priests like anything else.
Well, yeah.
And so what we're actually talking about is can you institutionalize something that might be more like a
The thing is, if it would have never been institutionalized, you would have never had a Bible to begin with, because who copied all of those manuscripts?
well, yeah,
Who safeguarded them?
I guess that's true. But, like, what I'm saying is that these people, like Saint John of the Cross,
Mhm.
these are, like, the real priests, and they may
Was
be
he was
quite
a monk,
few.
wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but no, I'm saying, like, archetypally, they're the real priests. Like,
Yeah, and, like, Fulton Sheen was a real priest.
no, see, no, I don't absolutely not. Fulton Sheen was a snake oil salesman who never opened his third eye. Like, that's the difference I'm saying, you
Why?
know? I can just tell, like, he talks like my grandpa talked. Like, um, he's not like a like, haven't you ever, like, listened to a bunch of, like, Hindu gurus on YouTube, and there's the fake ones, but then occasionally there's, like, a real one, and you can tell,
You're the
like,
only person I've ever met that doesn't like Fulton Sheen.
I mean, he's okay, like, he's fine. I don't not like him. I liked him when I was a kid. I mean, I like him, but he
Okay.
seems like, he's very, like well, it's been a while. I shouldn't say anything because I don't know. He seems like an ideologue, though. Like, he seemed like he never had a schizotypal break, you know? Do
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, he's he was psychologically normal, and I think that in every tradition this is what, like, Eliade writes about, like, there's always the marginal, like, losers, like, if they endure and persist, are the ones who end up the shamans in the village because they understand what, like, failure and pain are like, and so then
Well, that was like Marcel Lefebvre, who was excommunicated. But if there wasn't him, there would be no real priests anymore. You probably don't even know what I'm talking
no, I
about.
don't know what that one is.
Marcel Lefebvre, he was like a bishop that like from France or
I mean,
whatever.
I've heard of him, but
Yeah, he like stood up to the Pope. And they
yeah,
and
that's based though. That's what I'm saying. Is like we need people who can
right, he was
kind
like a
of
saint basically.
trust their like but that's Protestant. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. It's not
Basically.
Protestant to attack heresy. That's about as Catholic as it gets. To call out heresy, even if you're like you're calling out the Pope, it doesn't matter. If they're heretics, then they are. And that's nothing new either.
Yeah. Glib's making fun of a woman who isn't a Catholic explaining who the real priests are. Like to a man who's not even close to being a Catholic either. Lately I've been thinking though that women might be good for the movement. Whatever the movement is.
The movement, yeah.
Mhm. Because it seems like women are more based in a sense, like they're showing their faces, they know what they think. Like, what do you think of that? Are women there like I know there's a bunch of incels in the chats who always like make fun of women, like Glib, but like I mean maybe women are not that bad.
I know, yeah, you keep saying that. I mean, I don't know.
What do you think about that? Like,
I don't think
wh-
women are bad at all.
oh, well, but you think they shouldn't be priests or shouldn't talk in
I don't think
churches?
they should be in the seminary with priests. That sounds like a disaster.
Oh yeah, I agree with that for sure.
They
I
can be
don't
nuns.
you know that I grew up with only women um did I ever tell you that?
Yeah,
Pastors?
that sounds gay.
It is pretty gay.
What was I gonna look for? Oh yeah.
But I think it shaped me in like that I tend to be able to hear like women better,
Mhm.
which sort of sucks.
That's interesting.
Well, because like the and like I don't know, like I don't know. Yeah. All
What
right.
else?
Mm,
What else should we talk about? Or are we done?
yeah, I don't know.
I
I'm
guess
probably
we're
done.
done.
Yeah. Um,
Brundle is making gross comments.
I know. Why am I not a mod in my own stream here? This is crazy. I would have deleted
I
that.
haven't made like anyone a mob. Or did I make
Brun
someone a mob?
Brundle's a mod, and I'm not a mod.
Sorry.
Crazy.
You're not gonna be a mod ever. No, I'm just kidding.
uh, yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna ask that.
I command you
Yeah.
to listen to
I
that.
will watch that video. Yeah, I will.
Okay. Promise?
Yeah, of course.
And then I wanna hear what you say about it.
All right, I'll do a stream about it even. I'll
That
do a
would be
whole stream,
cool. That would
but
be
probably not tomorrow because tomorrow I'm traveling. I gotta go through LaGuardia again tomorrow. What a nightmare that place is.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you know what it is? It's like the peak. It's like the crystallized embodiment of Globo Homo, and it has no cultural content. Like it's just concrete and horror, like just I hate it there.
Mhm.
Cabs and people from all over the place and
Mhm.
geez.
Now you got me thinking about, like, if it is, like, a style difference. Like, because 'cause I'm thinking of, like, Italian style priests
Yeah.
that are, like, they are kinda like Jews, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, and well, I mean, like the aesthetic is we've already done our art stream. Like you love that.
I just mean, like, the way they talk, though. Like, there is a difference, but I am, like, kind of an Anglophile, too, and I don't think that's inconsistent either. I don't know.
Anglos like I feel like I talk closer to a Jew than an Anglo. I like um or I used to. Like the Italian, you're right. The Italians are, they would be gesticulating and there's this although the priests don't as much, do they? The Italian priest is more
More like what?
like well, I'll just watch the video, I guess, but I picture them being more like
I don't know if that guy's Italian, but he is from New York, and you can definitely hear it. I
yeah.
think it's awesome, but
Yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be cool if like all airports like deeply reflected the local culture? Because Donald Robertson said, "What do you expect from an airport?"
Yeah.
And I guess so, but
The airport in Iceland is pretty nice.
all right.
The truth will live. Do you prefer Northern or Southern Europeans? I don't know. I don't really like Southern Italy, to be honest. Like, that's, like, too, like, swarthy.
Yeah, they're like North Africans down there.
Right. But, like,
Have you been there?
yeah.
Have you? I haven't been down south of like Rome.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I went to the Amalfi Coast.
Did you go to Egypt?
No. I
Man, I
like,
want to go to
Tuscany
Egypt.
better.
Do you think Egyptians are a real race or are they just mixed blood?
No, I think the Arabs came in and Arabized them,
Were they white?
really. Probably, yeah. Something. Maybe they weren't, like, Anglo, but they may have been Caucasian.
Yeah, like
Or, like,
like
Persian.
Aryan.
You know how, like, Persians
Yeah,
are kinda white?
yeah,
It may have been like that, and then the Arabs just, like, came in and, like, out outbred them or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, I've been because I was reading some of that research in like the like um like the phrenology stuff.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
the consensus used to be that there were basically five races,
Mhm.
and like anything else was just a mix of those.
Hmm.
There's also they used to question, and I've been thinking about this, like whether there was monogenesis or polygenesis, meaning like are humans all evolved from the one ancestor, or did it happen in different places?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
And it's like, have you heard that thing how everyone except sub-Saharan Africans has um, Neanderthal in them?
Yeah.
But it's like, so
I know it
Like, that
raises a
doesn't
lot
make
of
sense. Like,
questions.
they say the out of Africa thing, but really, like, you could just as easily say, the other way around almost. That,
Mhm,
like, that the Neanderthal, like, populated the world except for sub-Saharan Africa or
mhm.
something. Yeah, we're basically Neanderthals.
When the sorry, I'm looking at the chat now. The Arabs invaded Iran, they expressed disgust at the fair hair of the Persians. That sounds about right. Yeah, yeah, it's Persians, like, were white, basically. Anyway.
Okay, I gotta go to the airport in the morning.
Okay. Well,
Good job. You should get someone else on here. Maybe Brundlefly can get on.
I think I'm gonna be done, actually.
Okay.
It's getting late.
I think some of this was good, but
This wasn't our best stream.
I've been streaming, like, all day.
I know.
It's like, 'cause it's raining here, it's nothing like, and I've eaten. I don't know. Yeah, you should get Lou Duva on just for, like, he says he's naked, for just a couple minutes.
That's okay.
Alright.
I think I'll pass, but,
I get it, you're tired.
um, what was I
Alright,
gonna
I'm watching that video, I got it. I got it.
Okay. Okay, yeah, think about my, proposition, though, about, like, creating, like, a real counterculture that's, um, like, not only, like, militant, but, like, special. I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
Chosen.
Chosen.
Yeah.
Um,
Alright, chat. Shut up.
yeah, watch the Hollywood pictures about my martyrs. Quantrell gets it.
I'm telling you,
Okay,
Quantrell
yeah,
gets
Song of
it.
Bernadette, and then A Man for All Seasons. Life-changing stuff. Seriously.
Just leave this video up, and then I can watch it again and check, like, go through here and make a check, like, do all these things I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. Okay, you want the Mayfield playlist? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, okay, first thing first. Yeah, watch the sermon that I sent you. It was good.
Alright. And then I'll send you
Yeah, send me something.
yeah, I'll send you, like, some country ass preacher just going
Okay,
off.
I just think, like, if you want, like, anti-Semitic preachers, like, Bishop Williamson
No, I don't. I love the Jews.
Bishop
Like, you
Williamson
know
is
me.
way better than Pastor Anderson's, like, a race cuck, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Isn't he all, like, into that stuff?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, I guess
I do kinda like those, like, country guys that, like, sit on their porch and, like, talk. Even if I don't think that's a priesthood, like, I
the
still
thing
think
is,
that
like,
they might have wisdom. What?
like, the whole idea of, like, race cucking, it's like, it shouldn't even have to be a thing. It's not really it's like, this shouldn't be happening, like, it's unnatural that we even have to consider the
Mhm.
race question. Like, why are there people who look different than me living near me?
Twitter
Uh,
sucks. Why am like, this is so boring. This is why I never look at this. Sorry. Okay.
yeah, I've read Adversus Judeos Quid. That's
I
it's
don't know
not
what
Ath-
it is.
it's not Athanasius. It's one of those early second or third century guys, and it's based. He says at one point he says tell me the author Quid. He says that oh yeah he goes he says Christians should basically be on Sabbath permanently. Like, not just one day a week, but every day of the week.
Mhm.
And never work for anyone else. Like, that's a awesome idea.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's not Chris Thumb. That's not the one I was thinking. There's another one called that, like Against the Jews. But okay.
I'm trying to think what other book we could look at. I did actually, bring up the Bible, and I thought maybe we were gonna talk about that, but I know how much you like it.
Save that for next time because I do like it. We should do that.
And I found this really cool Bible scan. I think it's cool.
Fuck. People are like stream with Ash now too.
I think I'm done actually. I mean, yeah. Like it's getting late.
All right.
Anyway, okay. One last thought. I know you don't like the structure and like the Pope and stuff, but like a lot of the popes were like super based and awesome.
Well, yeah. I
Like
mean, of course.
especially the 19th century popes, like Leo the 13th, Pius the Ninth, Pius the 10th were based. Based and red pilled, as John Harris
Yeah.
would say. Uh,
But then they did like it didn't hold up. So that it
no,
didn't. It
but that's
wasn't like
happened before too. Like that, there have been like other anti popes in the history of the church. It's not a new phenomenon.
yeah.
Anyway,
All right. I'm out of here.
I know. Okay.
Okay. Good job. I'm out. See you, chat.
All
And
right.
good job.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.